And now I want to show you one more trick. Sometimes when I'm working, or when I used to do special effects makeup, we would want to add wrinkles to things. And as I've said with these tools, many times if we simply drag them through the surface, notice that we have these kind of, it's not a very good line, it's just too perfect. And even if I can change this and move it around, we end up with these high parts on the lines and low parts. Oh, this soft clay is horrible. Here's a thing that I learned. If and we might be able to do this on the hair, if I take a little bit of saran wrap, now I could use an old grocery bag if I didn't have any saran wrap laying around, but now when I pull my tool over this, I hope it gives you a good example. I'm going to try to over push a little bit. And by the way, whenever we do this, you'll notice that I try to, you see that I turn the tool so that I get a shadow going in one direction. I'm always attempting to change the nature of my marks. I could get in and use, other tools if I need other marks. So what I'm hoping we're going to see here is when I pull this up, that we have much softer marks already, and I don't have all of those crumbs to clean up. So this could be a much better way to get in here. I wanted to show you ways that I might use it on this forehead. Remember, I told you I was going to leave the forehead a little bit cleaner. I just want to fill that. And so that when I get in with this, I might be able to add some nice wrinkles. Changing the angles of my tools. Sometimes I've noticed that wrinkles will overlap one another. They can be broken lines. I'm putting a few more on this side because, remember, that side of the forehead. Oh, or is it the opposite? Oh, it might be the opposite. If this brow is raised a bit, then this side's going to have more wrinkles, you think? All right. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So we just ended up with these wrinkles. They're, yeah, not perfect, but there is not a lot of the crumbs to deal with. Now, when I do the eyebrows, remember that I was always careful to call these brows up here. The brow is the bony and muscular area that helps us express so much. We can move it around, lift them up high when we're happy, push them down low when we're mad, cause the outside to go down when we're sad, the middle to go down when we're mad. So, but now when I do the eyebrows, that is the hairy part, I can do that in a couple of different ways. I'm going to see if I can just make some marks here, following what I think the directions of the eyebrows should be. And notice I'm not making them random. On my eyebrows, they're a little bit lighter out here, and they're definitely pointed that way. At the inside, they go up a little bit more. Ha-ha. Ha-ha. Hey, that's not so bad. It's casting some good shadows, and there's not a lot of extra stuff on there. If I felt like I needed to, I mean, sometimes if you're doing something that's extremely stylized, or perhaps you're going to do a female, and you want her eyebrows to be perfectly, on fleek, perfectly on point, maybe you're going to add something like this. And then we'll be careful, and maybe I'll use a finer tool and just try to be much more delicate with my expressions. You know what I mean? Can you see it? But that's not what I'm doing. I'm making an old man with big old bushy eyebrows. Let me see how this one differs. If by adding this on there, it creates a better impression, then I might go ahead and redo the other one. The problem with adding is that you're gonna have to do something with the edges and be conscious that it can look like just a hunk of clay on there. See what I mean? I don't have to make a line for every mark. Because see, this looks plenty textured. It's very textured. And I don't have 10,000 hairs. I have enough that people will know. Trust that your viewer is going to know some things, but also treat them to some really excellent stuff, you know? Don't give them too little, but you don't have to give them everything. It's great fun to try to do something that's absolutely lifelike. But sometimes we can also give them a little less. I'm going to add a little bit more here. Oops. I don't know if I needed to, but I really like the look of that bushy one I just put on. All right, I kind of like this guy. I am going to smooth this or eliminate whatever is going on there. Oh boy. And do I have anything that needs to happen over here? Or is that more of a wrinkle? Well, it's gone now. So, this is only a demo, so I'm not going to work it to death. I do want to mold it, but I think that you have most of what you need right now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in here and smooth this area a little bit. I want to put some really bad wrinkles in there, some crow's feet or laugh lines. So the first thing I'm doing is smoothing it out a bit. Whoopsie. I'm going to then use my saran wrap method. And I'm going to go kind of crazy, I think, in that if I want this guy to appear quite old, then I'm going to push some lines in here severely. Oh, yeah. Sweet. Oh, yeah. All right, so as I go through here and try to smooth it now, I'll see if I can't get this to the next part. Or maybe I gave you enough. I am going to get in here with this and sort of give it a once-over to soften some wrinkles, to see if I can't smooth out some lines. If I can find, I thought that I had some other brushes. Normally I like something with a stiffer bristle. But I could potentially get in here and work in tighter areas like this. Or right here. The tools are just, every time you get in there, it'll fix one line and then destroy another. So I'm trying. Now, by the way, when I'm doing this, I'm not just doing it as a ritual. I'm not just painting every part of this. I'm actually thinking about what I want to happen here. I'm thinking about what parts are not working for me. I don't know what I did right there. And then I'll affect those parts. This is the point where many times, after you've been on this for a while, you're done. You don't want to do it anymore, and this is not the point that we should slough. Let's take all of that good work that we've done over the last few hours or few days or whatever, and let us, well, we're going to bring it home. We're going to try to make it, the final steps, absolutely as good as we can. I will get back into this on the hair. So see, if I'm not too careful, I have to think about what shapes I want where, because I have noticed that I've softened some lines. These, though the eyelids are on one side looking a little softer, I also softened the part that I really liked, that was making that really exquisite dark shadow. You know, imagine later you'll probably be able to paint these and add a little bit of eyeliner, but if you already have a strong shadow there, you might not need to. Once again, it's sometimes the subtleties that are really gonna make this happen. I'm going to see if I can't bring just a little bit of this neck down, because I do have to allow this thing to blend all the way down to the table, and I saw a strong mark there. Oh boy. All right, let's have a closer look at this. I hope you guys are with me. You know, it's, of course, as I see a mark like this, I'll get in there and maybe take some from somewhere else and fill that in. If I see something that just doesn't make any sense to me, I'll always get in. I don't want to leave anything. Why would we settle? We've given ourselves to this process up to this point. Let's just spend a little bit more time with it. And smooth it out. Sometimes the finger is the best tool, sometimes not. Sometimes the texture of your fingertip or your hand is just what this thing needs. You know, so if you're able to get in there with one of those textural surfaces, that, like the sponge, can really conceal an awful lot of yucky things. All right, I am seeing this differently than you guys are. As I glance up at the camera, I notice more and more things that are, they're disturbing me. And at this point, I become kind of meticulous. So I'm going to sign off. I am going to keep working. But I think you've seen most of this, have you not? The big things, how to make the shape, how to do the mouth, how to do the nose, how to do the ears and eyes. And now it's just on the finish. We decide what the finish will look like. And I think for our case, since we won't be able to get perfection, we're going to try to create a texture. Uh-oh, that's the problem with these cheap brushes. Sometimes they fall apart. Oh, come on. And I don't want to mess this up too much. I wish I had another smaller bristle brush. I'm sure I do. I just have to go look around. All right, buckaroos, you know the drill. Get your stuff, start working, make your marks.